When Sophia Marshall, along with her two young children, is turned away from the Layton's doors due to its no children policy, she leaves quietly, masking her disappointment. But the next day, she returns, not as an ordinary guest, but as the hidden owner of the entire restaurant chain, ready to make a surprising announcement that shakes the staff and changes the restaurant's future. The same managers and hostess who dismissed her are left speechless as she unveils her plans for a more inclusive and family-friendly environment. Sophia's actions go beyond policy changes. They redefine the meaning of luxury and hospitality. What follows is a heartfelt transformation that no one saw coming. But before we dive in, leave a comment and let us know where you are watching from today. And if this story speaks to you, hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories. In the bustling heart of the city, the Layton, a renowned high-end restaurant known for its sleek decor, gourmet cuisine, and exclusive atmosphere, catered to the city's elite. From the outside, its tall windows and shimmering chandeliers gave it an air of sophistication that attracted only the wealthiest patrons. But its reputation extended beyond fine dining. The Layton was known for its strict no-children policy, which it enforced without exception. It was a haven for business meetings and quiet dinners, where patrons could enjoy their meals without the sound of children. One rainy afternoon, Sophia Marshall walked into the Layton, her two young children, Mia and Jacob, by her side. Sophia was dressed in simple attire, a neatly pressed blouse, dark jeans, and a coat to shield her from the rain. Though she wasn't flaunting the latest fashion or dripping in jewels, there was a quiet confidence in her presence. Mia, a curious 8-year-old, and Jacob, an energetic 5-year-old, held her hands tightly as they took in the luxurious surroundings. The hostess, a sharply dressed woman named Valerie, gave Sophia a once-over and immediately looked unimpressed. She noted the presence of the children and raised an eyebrow, her polished smile barely concealing her distaste. "Good afternoon," Valerie greeted, her tone polite but distant. "Do you have a reservation?" Sophia smiled warmly, undeterred by the hostess's chilly demeanor. "We don't have a reservation, but I was hoping to get a table for myself and my children." Valerie's smile faded slightly, and she cleared her throat. "I'm afraid we have a strict policy here. No children under 12 are allowed to dine. The Layton strives to maintain a refined, adult atmosphere, and we found that, well, families with young children don't usually enjoy it here." Sophia's smile wavered, her eyes meeting Valerie's with calm understanding, though a flicker of disappointment crossed her face. She looked down at Mia and Jacob, who were gazing around in awe at the elegant restaurant, unaware of the rejection they were about to face. "I understand that policies are important," Sophia replied gently, "but I was hoping that today we could make an exception. It's a special day for us." Valerie shook her head, her tone firm. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but there are no exceptions to our policy. Perhaps you might find another place more suitable for children. There are several family-friendly options nearby." A pang of frustration ran through Sophia, but she kept her composure. She didn't want to make a scene in front of her children, nor did she want to dampen their spirits. Nodding politely, she took Mia and Jacob's hands and turned to leave, but not before glancing back at the elegant space, her expression filled with thought. As they stepped outside, Mia tugged at her mother's hand, her innocent eyes filled with confusion. "Mom, why couldn't we eat there? It looked so pretty inside." Sophia knelt down, smiling softly as she brushed a strand of hair from Mia's face. "Sometimes, places aren't ready for everyone, sweetie. But that doesn't mean we don't belong." With a newfound determination glimmering in her eyes, Sophia led her children down the street, her mind already spinning with ideas. As they enjoyed a meal at a nearby cafe, Sophia watched her children laugh and chatter, their happiness unbroken by the earlier rejection. But for Sophia, the experience had ignited something deep within her, a reminder of the exclusivity she had once fought to overcome in her own life, and a determination to make a change. What the staff at the Layton didn't know was that Sophia wasn't just any woman. She was the owner of the entire chain of Layton restaurants, having acquired them through a series of discreet investments years ago. Unlike the polished executives who typically ran establishments like this, Sophia preferred to keep a low profile, believing that her businesses should be able to run on principles of respect and inclusivity without her constant oversight. But the rejection she faced that day felt personal, and it opened her eyes to an issue she had overlooked for too long. That night, after tucking Mia and Jacob into bed, Sophia sat in her home office, reflecting on her experience. She scrolled through customer reviews of the Layton, reading with increasing concern as she found comments about the restaurant's exclusivity and treatment of families. It became clear that this wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a culture that had developed within the restaurant. The next morning, Sophia arranged a meeting with the management team of the Leighton chain, requesting a formal review of their policies. She didn't reveal her experience or her position as the owner just yet. She wanted to hear their thoughts, unfiltered. As the meeting began, the managers, including Valerie, who had served as hostess the previous day, gathered in a sleek conference room overlooking the city. They exchanged polite greetings, unaware that the woman who had been turned away at the door was sitting among them. Sophia, dressed in professional attire and exuding quiet authority, listened as each manager presented their views on the restaurant's policies. When it came time to discuss their clientele, one manager mentioned, "Our policy on children has kept our clientele high-end and consistent. We don't want to lose that exclusivity that sets us apart." Sophia interjected calmly, "So, are we saying that families don't deserve to experience fine dining or that children can't be part of a memorable experience here?" Valerie glanced at Sophia, sensing a familiarity but not quite placing her face. "We found that younger children can be disruptive, and our regular guests expect a quieter, more refined environment," Valerie replied, choosing her words carefully. Sophia's gaze turned steely. "And does exclusivity really mean denying people the chance to enjoy an experience together as a family? Isn't there a way to create an environment where all guests feel welcomed without sacrificing the restaurant's quality?" The room fell silent as the managers exchanged uneasy glances. They had not anticipated this line of questioning, nor the passion behind Sophia's words. Finally, Sophia leaned forward, her tone firm yet controlled. "Yesterday, I walked into the Leighton with my children, hoping to show them a special experience. I was turned away because of their age. And let me tell you, it was disheartening to see a place I invested in reject my family because of outdated notions of exclusivity." The managers' faces went pale as realization dawned. Valerie's expression turned from surprise to horror as she recognized Sophia as the woman she had turned away. Sophia continued, "When I invested in this chain, I believed it would uphold values of inclusivity and respect. But if we are setting rules that make families feel unwelcome, then we're doing something very wrong." Taking a deep breath, Sophia looked at each manager intently. "I'm implementing a new policy. The Leighton will now welcome families with children, and we will create a designated family-friendly dining area, where parents can enjoy a refined experience without worrying about judgment. We'll offer child-friendly menus and activities that allow children to appreciate the joy of dining, just like any other guest." She paused, letting her words sink in. "This change is effective immediately. If any of you have an issue with this, I suggest you reconsider your position here." Valerie looked down, unable to meet Sophia's gaze, and several other managers shifted uncomfortably. The message was clear: the Leighton would no longer operate under a veil of exclusivity that alienated potential guests. Within days, the changes were underway. The Leighton's new family-friendly section was designed with elegant yet comfortable seating, sound-absorbing decor to keep the environment pleasant for all, and a menu tailored to young palates while maintaining the restaurant's high standards. Sophia personally oversaw the transformation, working with designers to ensure the new space was both sophisticated and welcoming. The restaurant's social media buzzed with excitement as families began to share their experiences at the Leighton. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with parents praising the restaurant for making fine dining accessible to everyone. Sophia's decision attracted new clientele, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere that didn't sacrifice the restaurant's signature elegance. Valerie, humbled by the experience, continued working at the Leighton, but her perspective had shifted. She began greeting families warmly, understanding that her role wasn't just about enforcing policies but about creating a welcoming environment. The other managers, too, saw the value in Sophia's vision and began actively fostering an atmosphere of respect and inclusivity. One evening, a family with 2 young children entered the Leighton and was greeted by Valerie with genuine warmth. As she guided them to the family section, she realized that the restaurant felt fuller and more alive, with laughter and conversations filling the air in a way that had been missing before. Sophia's presence had left an indelible mark, not just on the staff but on the entire dining experience. As she watched families enjoy their meals, Sophia couldn't help but feel a sense of fulfillment. She had transformed not only the restaurant but its culture, proving that luxury didn't mean exclusion and that every guest deserved the chance to create memories. The Leighton became known as a symbol of modern luxury, one that embraced diversity and inclusion while maintaining its high standards. And as for Sophia, she knew that her quiet challenge to an outdated policy had brought lasting change, one that resonated far beyond the walls of the restaurant.